Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Courtney and today we are going to go over every single book on my physical TBR, which you probably already know from the thumbnail, from the title of the video. This is an exciting one for me because exciting, but just also necessary, because one of my main goals this year is to read down my physical TBR. Now, I do read a lot of books every month, so I am making a dent in it. However, the problem is I'm also bringing in a lot of new books every single month. So I really wanted to kind of do like a reset where I remind myself of every book that I physically own that I still need to read, so that I will hopefully slow down on buying books and actually start prioritizing and zipping through my physical TBR. So I would also, let me turn you around. Let me show you what we're working with. These are the piles. It's not that bad, okay? But you know, it's something. At the end, I will count them and let you know how many are actually on my physical TBR, but I would love to know your guess. From what I just showed you, how many books do you think I have right now on my physical TBR? Guess in the comments below, and then you'll see if you're right at the end, because I will count them. I have a lot of fantasy books. That's like my main genre that I have here. So let's start with romance, because we're gonna be doing fantasy for a long time. But first, coffee. So starting with my romance pile, I'm not gonna pick it up because it'll go everywhere. This first one here is Unwanted by Mia Sheridan. This is one that I recently added to the pile. Now, I'm not gonna like go in depth over the synopsis and stuff of these books because, as you may or may not know, I like to go into things generally kind of blind. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to show you the book, kind of talk a little bit about how long it's been on my TBR and anything that I may or may not know about it. This one I know is like more of like mystery vibes, I think. There's like this lonely, mysterious man in the woods and he's blamed for things. It's kind of giving Where the Crawdads Sing a little bit, just from like the synopsis from what I remember. But this one I recently bought and I'm really excited for it, but for some reason I'm thinking I want to read this in the summer. This cover is giving me like summer, I don't know. So we have that one. We have two books that I've had for a little while of Elsie Silver's Backlist. These are both part of the Gold Rush Ranch series, I believe, books 3 and 4. So we have The Front Runner and A False Start. I know The Front Runner follows Stefan, who we get little glimpses of in the first two books, but he's kind of like not a good guy. Like, we don't, in those books, we're kind of like, he's kind of smarmy, we don't really like him. But I am excited to get his book. I think it's like him and like the vet or something, so that'll be fun. This one, I have no idea who it follows. I think it's someone related to Stefan. But anyway, yeah, so we have two books in the Gold Rush Ranch series. I read the first two. I just have not yet gotten to these two. Kind of along a similar vein, I have Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. I've never read anything by her, but I did buy this because I've heard that her books are kind of similar to like Elsie Silver's books, and it even has a blurb from Elsie Silver on the cover, which has me excited. And this is book 1 of a series 2, but what the heck is the series called? Oh, Sparrow Falls. This is book 1 of Sparrow Falls, and I think there's like kind of a mystery element maybe in these as well. I don't know. I don't really know. I just know these are kind of Elsie Silver vibes, and that's all I needed to know. And they're really pretty. So I have The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. This one has been on my TBR for an embarrassingly long time. This has probably been on my TBR over a year at this point, and I have no excuses for why I haven't read it. I think it's just because like this cover is not like calling out to me, and I don't even know really what it's about. Hopefully we will get to this one this summer, soon maybe, hopefully, I don't know. We also have Whiskey Business by Elliot Fletcher, another one that I've had on my TBR for a while, not as long as The Friend Zone, probably since, I don't know, maybe end of last summer? Not sure. And this one, oh yeah, this one follows, he's like a distiller, and I think it's in another country. Oh yeah, Scottish whiskey distiller. Yeah, so I think it's in Scotland. So I think that aspect will be fun. Again, no excuse for why I haven't read this yet, I just don't know. And then I also, at the same time that I bought Whiskey Business, I bought Savor It by Tara DeWitt. And this cover is what made me buy it, because are you kidding? The colors, the artwork is so beautiful. But I have heard kind of like mixed reviews on this, so I've been kind of hesitating to pick it up because of that, and I need to stop doing that, because just because somebody else rates it, you know, poorly or reviews it poorly doesn't mean that I'm not gonna like it. So yeah, and I believe this one has some like deeper things in it. She has like a hobby farm, I believe, so I think this is another one that'll be really good for summer. I think I was gonna read it last summer and then I never got to it, and so then I was like, well, let's save it for next summer. So hopefully this summer I actually get to this one. I have Her Night at the Museum. This one is very recent. One of my most recent adds to my TBR, and my sister-in-law bought it for me for my birthday. So yeah, this one I think is gonna be a fun, goofy little rom-com time, because I believe it takes place in a museum, and it's like one of the knight statues or something comes to life. So yeah, I think this is just gonna be really silly, goofy, and fun. It's kind of giving, you know, Night at the Museum. Duh, I'm excited. So that one got added to the TBR recently. We have Ready or Not by Cara Bastone, which this one I plan on reading hopefully very, very soon. I wanted to read this one before spring is done, because this cover is very much giving spring vibes, and I've heard nothing but good things about this. I know that this is like the pregnancy trope, which isn't everybody's favorite, but I feel like when I go into a book knowing it's the pregnancy trope, it doesn't bother me as much. I also read Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young and loved that, and that was also pregnancy trope. So I've heard really good things about this one. I've heard that the main character is like really funny, so again, I'm hoping to get to this one soon. Another super recent add to my TBR pile is this one. This is book 3 in the Skyridge Hot Shots series. I just recently read book 1 on my Kindle. I think I finished it like a day or two ago, but I ordered all 3 of them, and then I started book 2, Protect, last night, so I just barely started that one. So this is really the only one that's still, I would say, like on my physical TBR, but I really like the illustration style of these. I don't usually like real people on covers, especially like just having like a man on the cover, but I like the color palette. I love the illustration style. Like the artwork is just really done well, I think. So yeah, just recently added this one to my TBR, probably my most recent ad. And that, I believe, is all of my just like contemporary regular romance. So yeah, next up we're gonna hit my fantasy piles, and then I do have a couple like miscellaneous genres, but we're gonna focus on fantasy first. So first up I have A Promise of Peridot by Kate Golden. This is book 2 in the Sacred Stones trilogy. I recently read in a vlog A Dawn of Onyx, and I really liked that. So I am hoping to get to this one soon, because as we all know, I'm trying to finish series that I'm in the middle of. So we have this one, and this is actually, I've been just like letting it live on my TBR cart. I don't have all my TBR books on my TBR cart because it just gets overwhelming, but this one's one I want to read soon, so I'm gonna put this back on the TBR cart. Next up we have Masters of Death by Olivia Blake, another book I've had on my TBR for way too long. I keep meaning to read this during spooky season, and then I just don't get to it, and the main reason I want to read it during that time is, again, just this cover. All I know about this one is that it's like kind of chaotic. You have a vampire, a real estate agent who's a vampire, a ghost haunting a house. You have a medium who's the godson of death, ghost-infested mansion. I don't know. This sounds perfect for like October, and for some reason I just keep like forgetting or just not picking it up during October. So this year I really want to get to this one. I've heard pretty good things about this one, so I am excited. So we are going to keep this one on the TBR. Moving on, I have a couple special editions. The first one is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. I think this one's like murder mystery on a ship meets like fantasy or something. I don't know. I saw Olivia Reads a Latte start to read this, and I think she really kind of enjoyed it in the beginning and then ended up DNFing it because I can't really remember why, but I think it just kind of got like boring, maybe. I don't know that this is like my kind of book. It's been sitting on my TBR shelf for quite a while, so if I don't get to this one soon, this one may end up being an unhaul. We'll see. I just don't know how I feel about it, and I have not had the urge to pick this one up really since I got it. It's just, I have a hard time getting rid of special editions because they're so beautiful. I need to be better because I don't want to just have random pretty books on my shelves that I haven't read and can't really talk about or recommend. So that's this one. Another special edition that I ordered forever ago because of how freaking beautiful this cover is The Sun in the Void by Gabriela Romero La Cruz. And all I really know about this one is I think it's like a young girl goes on a journey. Yeah, she goes on a dangerous journey, attacked by creatures that stalk the region, on the verge of death, and then something about her grandmother who's a dark sorceress. I believe this is YA as well. And I haven't really heard much about this at all from like, I haven't heard like what people really think of this. But again, this is one of the most stunning special editions I've ever seen. And it's from Illumicrate. Both this one and Voyage of the Dam are Illumicrate. This one is one that even if I don't read it, I don't know if I can get rid of because are you kidding? This is stunning. So yeah, we still have that one. That's also been on the TBR, probably over a year. Next one is one that is on my current monthly TBR. It's on my April TBR as we speak. I have not read it yet. And that is Water Moon by Samantha Soto Yambao. And this one I've heard is very much like cozy, kind of like cozier vibes, very whimsical. Katie is reading, recently read this and seemed to really enjoy it, so I want to give it a chance as well. It's about like a pawn shop in Tokyo, but it doesn't show up for everybody. And this pawn shop pawns like your dreams and your biggest regrets, pawn their life choices and deepest regrets. Yeah, so really whimsical idea. I've heard that this reads kind of like a Studio Ghibli movie, which I haven't really watched any Studio Ghibli movies yet. I know. I will do that eventually. This one is on my TBR currently, so I'm gonna put this back on the cart. Why am I always sitting on the floor when it literally hurts me so bad? I don't know. Sometimes think it's easier to be on the floor. Another one that's on my current monthly TBR is Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. This was gifted to me by my cousin for Christmas. And I've heard nothing but really good things about this series, especially as the books go on. Like book 2, I've heard, is a lot of people's favorite, and I think this is a very slow burn. Might be enemies to lovers. There's gods. They're cruel, magic-wielding offspring. I don't really know much about this, but I am very excited to read it based on all the good things that I've heard. So this one's also on my monthly TBR, as well as To Cage a God. We picked this out of the TBR jar, and this is another Illumicrate special edition that's been on my shelves for way too long. And it's beautiful, but I keep reading the synopsis every time I try to pick it up, and I'm just not that interested. It's about like, also about gods, but I think it's YA. There's two sisters, Galena and Sarah, whose mother grafted gods into their bones. And I heard that this is based on like Russian folklore and like set in like a wintry setting. I don't know. We'll see. This is another one that I've been telling myself, like if I do not get to this soon, I'm probably going to put it on my Pango and unhaul it, because I just have no business holding on to books that I don't really have an interest in reading. So if anyone's read either this one, The Sun and the Void, or Voyage of the Damned, and you liked it, please convince me in the comments to read them, because I can't seem to get myself to pick them up. Don't know why. Don't sue me. That's just how it is. But yeah, I'm gonna put both of these back on my TBR cart as well, because these are on my April TBR. But I don't know, it's not looking good, guys, for me actually reading them this month. I am so excited for warmer weather. Like I know I can drink iced coffee in any season, but when it's cold outside, I just have been really liking hot coffee again. Yeah, I'm excited for iced coffee weather. Let's continue. So the next one is a series. I have the entire series because I was gifted this for my birthday from my brother-in-law, and that is, what is it called? I think it's called the Sholomance series. Yeah, A Deadly Education is book 1, The Last Graduate is book 2, and then The Golden Enclaves is book 3. And these are really pretty, like the gold. This one's like green with gold. The first one is just like black and gold. The only reason I haven't read these yet is because I want to finish up Zodiac Academy first. I've heard that these are kind of similar vibes, a little bit maybe, to Zodiac Academy, being that there's, I think it's like a magical school, getting trained to wield magic, that kind of a thing. So I don't want to be in the middle of two series that have similar vibes. So before I get into this one, I do want to finish Zodiac Academy, which we'll get to that. I have the next book in the series that I need to read also on my TBR. So yeah, this series got added this Christmas. Another one that was a recent gift for my birthday is The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong. This is one that I have seen, again, nothing but good things. I've seen a couple people not love it, just like because it's, I don't know if it's because of the writing style or it's kind of dense. It's less of like a romantasy and more of like a high fantasy, and yet it's a standalone, which I feel like you don't see fantasy standalones very often. I am very intrigued by this one. I've seen a lot of people cry and just loving this. So I think this one's about like a woman warrior, and I really don't know anything about this. There might be like a kid involved somewhere too. I don't know, but I'm really excited about this, and my bestie Caitlin got this for me for my birthday. So shout out to you, boo, if you're watching. Can't wait to get to this. Don't know when I will, but very excited. Another one that's been on my TBR forever is Dirty Lying Fairies by Sabrina Blackberry. I had never really heard of this one, and it sounded really intriguing when I first read the synopsis, so I picked it up, and then it kind of became like my book photos book, if you know what I mean. If you're a bookstagrammer, you might know what I'm talking about, but it's kind of that book that I use to like take pretty book photos, so I'll like fold the pages into like a heart or like just do different things. So this is kind of beat up at this point, and I still haven't read it, unfortunately. But I do know that this is about Faye, someone who never believed in fairies until she started seeing them for herself. I feel like I haven't really heard anything about these books. Like I've never really heard anybody talking about these. And I know that she has a few out. So this is book 1 of the Enchanted Fates series. I would like to eventually get to this. We shall see. A book that I got for Christmas from my husband, because it was on my list, is Blood Mercy by Vala Roth. This is one I got the recommendation from Rachel, so Raven-Haired Reader. She really liked the series. I think this is more like dense and possibly political, but I've heard that the romance is like really, really good. There's vampires, yeah, one human, one immortal, one alliance to save the kingdom, forbidden love. I don't know. I love any type of fantasy romance with vampires, so I am hoping to get to this eventually, but again, it is a series. All the books are very chunky, so I just feel like I have to be ready to completely commit, and I'm not there yet, so we're setting this one aside for now until I can finish up some other series. But I am very excited, and the cover is so beautiful. And then another fantasy book that's very large on my TBR is book 2 of the Legacy series, and that is Storm of Secrets and Sorrows by Melissa K. Rorick. This is one I'm hoping to get to sooner rather than later, because again, this will help me to make a dent in continuing and finishing series that I'm in the middle of. Like I said, this is book 2 of the Legacy series. Book 1 I really liked. I think I gave it a 4 stars, but I've heard that the books just keep getting like crazier and crazier, and these follow Tessa Lynn, and she is like bound to serve, I can't remember what they're called. Oh, the Heir of Endings. Yeah, so she's like bound to him, and the whole first book she's kind of like fighting against this, and it's just really, really fun. These are urban fantasy, and yeah, I am excited to read this one because the first book does end in a pretty wild cliffhanger. So yeah, this one is on TBR. Next up on my fantasy TBR is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. This is another one that I feel like I've heard kind of like mixed reviews on. Some people have really loved it, some people have really not loved it and said it's kind of like all over the place. I know that this recently got traditionally published. It was previously like indie published, and so I don't know how that really affects things, because I didn't obviously read the indie published version. This one, I can't remember if it's a love triangle. I know there's dragons. Ooh, look how beautiful this map is. Sorry, the sun is like killing the vibe, but can't complain. Love the sun. Yeah, so this follows Elowyn Atara, who is ripped away from her dragons and imprisoned by her father. Now, years later, Elowyn is a woman determined to free her dragons. Okay, so we're gonna have like a dragon freeing heist. Ooh, she has to align herself with the commander of Veraveth, Caden Vales, the most feared and dangerous man in all the kingdoms. An immersive fantasy filled with sizzling, reluctant allies to lovers' romance, a world to get lost in, perilous quests, dragon bonds, and an entertaining band of characters. I mean, everything about that sounds amazing, so I can't wait to see what I think. I'm going to try not to let other people's opinions affect me going into this. So yeah, this one's also on the TBR. We have Our Deadly Designs by Kaylin Josephson. This is book 2. What is the actual series called? I don't know. I don't know what the series is called, but This Dark Descent was the first one, and I really enjoyed it. It's YA fantasy, but it's based on Jewish folklore, so it's like, it's unlike anything I've ever read. Book 1, there are these magical horse races, like deadly magical horse races that she has to win. And there's, again, I can't remember if it's a love triangle. I don't think it is a love triangle, but it's definitely like kind of enemies to lovers vibes. I don't know. The romance was really good. And then there was also like a side romance that I can tell is probably going to start to come to fruition in this book. So I am excited to read this. I just need to get like a little refresher from the first book before I go into this, but this will be another series that I am continuing. Another series that I need to continue is Mistborn. I read The Final Empire in a reading vlog over the winter and really enjoyed it. I think I gave it a 4.5 stars. Great time. And so I still need to read book 2, which is The Well of Ascension, and book 3, The Hero of Ages. The only thing about these is they are huge, and I feel like I've heard really iffy things, especially about The Well of Ascension, just being that I guess it's like denser, possibly less action, but more politicking. And so I have to really be in the mood for that, I feel like. So that's kind of been holding me back from diving into the second book, but these are on my TBR. I have An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. This was gifted to me by one of my Instagram followers. Thank you so much. Steph, if you are watching, I like to keep the card in here to remind myself. I've heard this one, this is YA fantasy, but I've heard this one's like very brutal and that the author is like not afraid to portray like violence and just putting her characters through the ringer. And so I, again, feel like I have to really be prepared and like in the mood for that. And so I haven't picked this one up yet, and this has been on my TBR, again, probably over a year. So hopefully I get to this at some point. Again, if you could convince me in the comments if you've read this, please do. No spoilers though, as always. Another YA fantasy that I have on my TBR is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. Another one that's been on my TBR probably, I don't even know, almost 2 years probably. And again, I have heard kind of mid things about this one, but the cover is so colorful and beautiful. This follows Katza, who is a Graceling, one of the rare people born with an extreme skill. She's niece of the king, living a life of privilege until the day her ability to kill a man with her bare hands is revealed. Ooh. And then she meets Poe, a foreign prince, Grace with combat skills. So I think this is going to be, obviously, fantasy romance, but YA. And that's all I know about it. I am intrigued by this. Again, I do want to see for myself what I think of this. I just haven't picked it up. Next up, I have Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I have heard really good things about this one. I've heard that it's like Bridgerton, but with, you know, fairies, and the main girl, what is her name? Theodora Eddings, has like no emotions or whatever, so that obviously affects all of her interactions at court and whatnot. I know that there's a romance. It's very short and sweet. Pretty much as soon as I heard that this was kind of like Bridgerton vibes, I was sold. I've also seen Katie is read this one and absolutely love this one as well. So I do really need to get to this one at some point. Another series, one that I haven't even started, is, again, I don't know what the series is called, but I have A Promise of Fire and A Curse of Queens by Amanda Bouchette. Oh, The Kingmaker Chronicles. And these are like older books. I believe these were published, 2016, I think was when they were first published. So they are kind of older. They have really pretty artwork in here. Love that. And I really know nothing about these. I, again, bought these probably 2 years ago. Bought both of them and then just for some reason never started. So if anybody's read these, please convince me. I would love to read these. I love the covers. And sometimes I really like fantasy that was like written a little bit ago rather than all of like the new release, because I do feel like they have a little bit a different vibe. This might be enemies to lovers as well. I'm not really sure. Kat Fisa isn't who she pretends to be. She's disguised as a soothsayer and traveling circus. Ooh, we have a traveling circus. Ooh, she locks eyes with an ambitious warlord from the magic-deprived South. Okay, yeah, I think it's gonna get enemies to lovers vibes, so definitely do want to read this. Hopefully you guys can see me. I feel like the light is cloudy out, so I don't know what the heck's going on. Another one that I have on my TBR is Light Lark. So again, book 1 in the series, and I'm trying to finish series before starting new ones, but I have the Barnes & Noble special edition. Absolutely gorgeous. The map, the red map, is gorgeous. I know there's like character artwork. I'm not gonna show it just in case it's spoilery, but I know that there's character artwork in the back. Oh, I do really want to read this. And I believe this is like, it's YA. I've heard that it's love triangle. So I'm not usually the biggest fan of love triangle, but I've seen enough good reviews of this book and this series that I'm intrigued to pick it up for myself. So I will be eventually getting to that one. Back to what I was saying about Zodiac Academy. I am still in the middle of that. I still need to read book 8, which is this one, Sorrow and Starlight, and then book 9. But if you know Zodiac Academy, by the end of the series, there's kind of a lot of repetitiveness and just deep frustration, okay? Deep frustration, because these two authors, the Twisted Sisters, are not afraid to do horrible things to their characters. So the last book, I had to take a break after the ending of that one, but I do want to continue the series, and I really, really want to see, there's a couple characters in here that they've been dancing around each other, they haven't gotten together yet. I really want to see them get together and like be happy. So that's kind of what's keeping me in this series still, so I do need to continue the series with book 8. And then another like cozy fantasy vibe that I have here is A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. Another book that I've seen Katie is reading love. She really likes this series, and this is about Isabella, or Lady Trent, who is the world's preeminent dragon naturalist. So that's kind of giving like Emily Wilde vibes, but instead of studying fairies, she's studying dragons, and I really love Emily Wilde. Like, that is one of my top favorite series of all time. I do still need to read book 3, by the way, but I've just been putting it off because I don't want it to end, and because I want to wait for the Barnes & Noble special edition to come out so that it can match my other copies. So anyway, that was a tangent. But yeah, I would love to get into the series. I love this cover. I love anything about dragons. I love the academic vibes mixed with cozy fantasy. So I do think I will really like this one. Another one I have on my TBR is A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saft. Now this is one that I tried to pick up a few months ago, and I softy NF'd it, like, I don't even know. I probably was only like 20 pages in. I just really wasn't in the mood for it, and found that I had to do a lot of like thinking to figure out what the heck was going on. It's kind of like dark academia. It's sapphic. I've heard really good things about it, but we shall see. If I'll probably try to pick it up again closer to spooky season, give it another shot, and if, you know, if I'm still not vibing with it, this might be an unhaul as well, but I do want to give it another shot. Two of my really recent purchases are the next two. One of them is The Revenant Games by Margie Fuston. I don't know if I've talked about this one yet on here. This was one I did not plan on picking up at all, but I was told, because I was looking at A Tempest of Tea, I was told that if I like that one that I should read this one, and that it was about witches and vampires and some type of yearly games that this girl has to survive and win and whatever. And anytime something is described as having like trials or games or anything like that, and it's fantasy romance, like, count me in. I did read the first few pages of this the other day, just to try to get in the mood for it, and the writing style was a little weird. Like, I just wasn't really vibing with it. So again, this is another one that I will probably give another chance, but I don't know yet. Along with that book, I also, on the same day, purchased The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. Love this. Love the deckled edges. She's huge. And the reason I picked this one up is because I read the Shades of Magic trilogy recently, again, in like a couple vlogs. Loved it. New favorite series. I gave the last book 5 stars, but I would say overall it is a 5-star series. I love the concept of that magical world and like the different Londons, and I love the characters, and the writing was beautiful. So I do highly recommend the Shades of Magic trilogy. And as soon as I found out that this book follows those same, not the same characters, but it's like you get some of the same characters, you're in that same world, I knew that I had to get this and that I was interested in reading it. So this one was a very recent add to the TBR. I feel like I've been here for like an hour. Okay, and then last but not least, we have my miscellaneous genres. So we have one sci-fi series and then one like cozy mystery-ish series. So the sci-fis that I have here is a series that, again, I was gifted for Christmas. And that is this one, The Expanse series by James A. Corey. My brother-in-law got me these for Christmas. I think this is one of like his favorite series. And book 1 is Leviathan Wakes. This has been on my TBR cart and on my monthly TBR for the last 2 months, so both March and April. And again, I don't know if I am gonna get to this month. I'm so intimidated for some reason by sci-fi, and everyone keeps telling me that not to be intimidated by these, that they are actually like pretty easy to read. So I will, mark my words, eventually read this, especially when I need just something different from like my normal fantasy books. So yeah, these are on the TBR as well. I have here a cozy mystery series, and that is the Veronica Speedwell series. Now, I know that these books aren't in order. I read the first one, which is A Curious Beginning, quite a while ago. I really liked it. I thought it was just, the characters are fun. Veronica is like sassy and they're doing detective things. Her and Stoker have like a little budding romance, which I am intrigued to see that keep building throughout the book. I don't actually know. Oh, I think this one's the second book. I think this one's the next one that I need to read, A Perilous Undertaking. And then I have, again, these aren't like in order, but A Treacherous Curse, A Murderous Relation, and An Unexpected Peril. So I have 5 books of the series and I've only read 1. Don't ask me why I did that. I have no idea. So I know that this one's just going to be like another mystery that's going to be following Veronica and Stoker. And I just haven't been in the mood for these. I've, again, owned these probably almost a year now. I just feel like I need to be in the mood to pick these up. So we will see when I get to these as well. But yeah, that is every book, I believe, that's on my physical TBR. I think there's only like 1 out on my regular fiction shelf, and that is Dracula. So I will make sure to include that in the count, but I'm gonna go count. I'll be right back. Okay, so I actually realized, so I just did a count through, but I'm gonna count again with you guys as well, just so I can, you know, make sure I got the right number. But let's count them. I'm gonna try to show you. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, plus Dracula. So, I believe we have 43 books on my physical TBR currently, which 43 honestly isn't bad. So I just realized that after counting with you guys, I had put some of the books back on my TBR cart. So the answer, the total number on my TBR is not 43. It's actually 47. We were close, but it's 47. So, editing Courtney put this clip with the counting clips. Also would love to know, did you guess higher than that? Did you guess below that? What was your guess for what's on my physical TBR? I keep thinking that my physical TBR is massive, and honestly, 40 books is more than I want to have on there. Just because a lot of these are like really thick fantasies. I need to read down my fantasies for sure. I believe I can do this. I can get through them, but the problem is I just keep adding more to my physical TBR and I can't seem to stop because I'm like, well, I want options. You know, what if I only have a handful of books on my physical TBR and I don't feel like reading any of those that month, you know? Anyway, thank you so much for watching and for being here in general. As always, my Bookstagram is linked in the description below if you want to follow me over there. I am pretty active on there. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you could give it a like, comment down below, and subscribe so you don't miss anything from me in the future. Thank you so much. I hope you're having a great month, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!